All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Game 3 of Shaft and VOR, our first Game 3 of the International Bracket. I know we're excited to be here. We are excited to bring you this game. Let's have a quick look at the lineups. No, they haven't changed after the restart. You're looking at Shaft here on the north side of the map, bringing Ohio, Kremlin, Des Moines, Salem, Minotaur, Moskva. A huge mix of cruisers there, 2 Nevskys, and a lone destroyer, a very lonely Gearing. Stats, real quick, look at the VOR lineup.
The VOR lineup again is Montana, Kremlin, Des Moines, Howden-Liu, Napoli, 2 Moskvas, and 2 Darings. And just to recap, because this hasn't happened yet this weekend, when there's a restart, the teams have to bring the same ships. They are not allowed to change. They are allowed to change the players, just in case someone disconnects or something like that. But they have to keep the same ship lineup. So this will have given the teams a little bit of time to think about the lineups that they've just seen. And particularly, we're seeing Shaft running a 1 destroyer lineup versus a 2 destroyer lineup on the VOR side. So, Henning, if you bring a 1 destroyer lineup, what is your goal?
So the general idea of having less destroyers is to bring more cruisers, which gives you more firepower and more HP. And on the contrary, you lose a little bit of cap contesting potential. You can offset it by picking a bunch of radar cruisers and, well, look at Shaft's lineup. They have basically only radar cruisers, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so you lose mobile vision, but what you lose, you gain in radar vision, which makes total sense, yeah.
The idea is basically you will lose caps early game, but you will just, with your increased firepower, you will start bullying away your opponent and take all the map back at some point late in the game.
So lay out radar traps, try and get some ships down, and then once you've got a couple of ships down, then you can start to exert some cap control.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me to note that despite the destroyer disparity, right, VOR has a small edge here. They're still taking both Darings over to the sea flank.
Yeah, they're going very heavy on that sea flank. They've got 2 Darings. One looks like it's heading over towards the 9 line. One maybe going towards the cap. Maybe going to dive for the island. We'll see. Supported by Moskva Kremlin. So only 3 ships on the other half of the map. We've got the Des Moines of Niebieski in the middle, and Besnaomi is Montana, and Asphodelis is Napoli, going over towards A. Looks like Shaft SeaRaptor have got a bit more of an even deployment.
They do. They've got 4 ships north of A. The double Nevsky Gearing kind of smoke train that we're used to seeing on that side of the event. As Zill over at C puts his radar up, catches Renegade out just a little bit here. Probably going to maybe get a little chip damage in.
Yeah, Renegade's Daring taking some incoming, but as we said yesterday,
if you are... Oh, yikes.
I was about to say, if you're facing shells from a Minotaur, you can easily bow or aft tank those because of the bounce angles. However,
that Kremlin salvo, though,
shoots at you.
Yeah, that Kremlin salvo was the big hit there. But back over having a look at A, of course, we've got... Flo's Gearing working with Possum and Kamikaze's Nevskys here, working a little bit of smoke train action. He's got a line of smoke set up for them. He's going to be able to dive down into that cap, and pretty much nothing that VOR can do about that. They're not set up to deal with anything like that on this side of the map. No, we see some of the NA teams will occasionally use 20-kilometer Shimakaze torpedoes, cross torps, and that sort of thing into these smoke pushes. None of that over here. No radar nearby. So Flo should be easy to grab A, and then it's just a question of kind of what VOR's cunning plan is with this this push over here as they get organized on the 8, 9, and 10 lines.
Yeah, with all these radars around, this is a bit like, for VOR, like storming a castle. So you've got more mobility because you've got the 2 destroyers. But as we said earlier, you've got to push into these dangerous double overlapping radars and things like that. So it's going to be very risky for VOR on B and C. There's nothing they can do about A, as you've just said. We'll see if they try and make a play for B, although the Darings are both over on the C side right now. Okay,
now with Zill's radar down, I just watched Kemi put his up. There's Exodus's Moscow radar definitely catching out Renegade, but they got to get shells on him for it to matter, and right now they haven't quite gotten there. Couple of the Minotaur turrets able to throw out shells. They are going to move him, push him off.
Yeah, Zill just about to get some shells. Renegade will go back in, though.
Yeah.
Although whether there's enough time to cap in between that radar and Zill's radar coming back?
I don't think there will be, no.
So that means that VOR might actually struggle to get some points on the board. they might rely on kills. Okay, action springing up on the 9 and 10 line now. As that radar from Exodus continues. Classic now being forced to run away, having pushed Torps in towards Chatban's Salem.
But Chat sniffed those coming, although here comes the Dutch airstrike in on Chatban. Has the potential to do a lot of pain to the Salem here.
So here we see that a diagonal drop, because of course the Howden you can only drop perpendicular to where you are, if you see what I mean. So Rashir is going to have to try and get around in front of Chatban to get the best drop possible.
Chatban is going to be a little uncomfortable here because Yanyaya's Kremlin's about to come right around the corner and be in his face. He's got a little bit of cover from the island. Well. Oh, nothing off that salvo. That island cover really working out for Chatban over here on the 10 line.
Yanaya can't really push here. The Verdant Kremlin is actually on his broadside if he tries to do that.
Well, he seems like that's what's going to happen. Here comes the salvo from Vert. I mean, not anything to get real excited about there.
Yeah, Vert needs to go aggressive here. He can't leave this Kremlin to push around.
Yeah, the trouble is which way is Naomi looking? Because if Vert pushes forward, is Naomi even in range? Yes, Naomi is absolutely looking that way. And is probably just about in range.
I don't see a spotter plane from Naomi, but he is looking. You're right. Looking for that shot.
Okay, Torps out from the Daring on the corner from VOR towards Shaft's Kremlin. Vert, Conga line torpedoes there looking pretty nasty.
Those look really good coming in right now. Vert's going to be able to dodge and maybe only take one of these on the bow. No, the first salvo is going to miss completely. Well done.
Nice rudder control there from Vert. There are some more coming, but that shouldn't be too bad.
It also pulled Zill's Minotaur back off the cap to continue to throw shells on Yanyai. They're throwing everything they can to try and slow down this Kremlin push.
I think Shaft are realizing right now, we've got really good map control, we've got good radar coverage. The one thing that we have to do right now is stop this push.
We've got to stop this push, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. Chatman is in a real pickle here.
I think he might actually get around on the other side of the island before the Kremlin comes around.
I think he's just about timed this perfectly. He's going to sneak out potentially and have good shots on Temple. He knows he's going to go out. The question is, what can he take with him on the way?
He might actually take Temple out here with him.
If he takes Temple with him, he's going for the Ram. That's actually not a horrible trade. If he can get it, 44 hit points, and he does.
On my screen, he reached 0 before he actually hit.
On 44 hit points, he pulls the Ram off. It's about the best result he could have hoped for.
Vert is now in trouble. Stuck. Nose into the two Darings and Yanaya.
If they can trade Kremlins here, it's fine.
Yep.
Now,
Shaft is very fine with trades here because they're winning the other side of the map.
I would say I want to briefly look away at the rest of the map, right? Because Shaft has not been idle. They're shoving Zondo's Ohio into the B cap, and he's actually got decent shots down on Naomi, who's starting to look pretty beat up down there on the H line. Because the push through A is continuing with all of the Nevsky sitting in smoke, just farming out the battleship.
I'm not even sure if Vert is dying here. He's really healthy. Meanwhile, Yanaya is
now
VOR's battleships are just beat to hell.
Yeah, Vert has managed to get right up alongside this island, and so has the right-hand side of the ship covered. Shots out towards Yanaya. Yep, that's a nice little chunk there, down to 6k and healing on Yanaya. Howden Liu drops some nasty bombs on Vert.
Have a look at Classic. He's coming in for another torpedo charge.
Yeah, I think this might just be a straight-up rush.
Yeah, they're setting up for another one. They know they've got to get Vert out of this position.
Vert doesn't know he's coming.
In the last game, we saw a not particularly brilliant daring rush. Let's see if this one's going to be a bit better.
Not sure if Vert's guns are reloaded. They are. He didn't necessarily have time to prepare for that. Okay, 6 torps going in, all on the bow. There it goes. Vert goes out. They managed to keep Yanaya on the board, but just barely.
There's the Moscow Raider. I don't think he's going to survive this.
Nope.
He doesn't.
Good,
Woo!
fantastic shot there from X Displays.
Wow, and 2 quick kills by Shaft as they take the other VOR battleship off the board on the other side of the map.
So, Henny,
No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
If you are Shaft right now, are you worried at all? Is there anything to worry about on this minimap right now?
I mean, you have a Napoli card out there, so you just take that kill as well if you can. The Des Moines on south of B has an Ohio in his face, so that's also pretty good for you. And VOR's forces are stuck in positions where they don't really do anything. The Kremlin is basically out of the game. The Golden Lou needs about 2 minutes to actually do anything anymore.
Yeah, the end result of this board position for VOR is just really bad, right? You
Like
got to deal
again-
with an Ohio in the middle of the board. You have nothing to deal with it with. He's going to be able to push Nebieski at his leisure. The Napoli is caught out on the eye line. Just not going their way today.
Like
Doesn't look
Shaft
good.
is
No.
form at points ahead. It's up one cap, 100k
Yeah.
HP advantage. The Des Moines is gonna die. Then after that, the Napoli is in a bad position as well.
So,
I mean-
the Daring and the Moskva for VOR are coming over to try and help the Des Moines. I think the Moskva is going to turn up into the channel.
Too late.
It's way too
Des Moines
late.
dead right here.
Yep, already too late.
Yep.
So now YBB's Moskva is gonna... I don't know where do you go with this? Because you can't turn that corner in front of Zando, who's already turning turrets, I assume. Yep. Preparing for that
I
push.
guess one of the things that I've never been a huge fan of these 9-10 line pushes, and we've all seen them work before, but I've never cared for how far it takes one of your battleships out of the fight, right? And we're seeing
And for
that
how
a little
long as
bit.
well.
And for how long? Exactly, right? Because Yanaya barely managed to salvage his ship, and now 3 or 4 minutes later is just now he's on a heal, he's on about a quarter HP, he's trying to get back into the game but his team needs him now, and he's not there, and he can't be there.
Okay. I'm going to call this a suicide charge. Suicide charge by Renegade on the Des Moines
Yeah,
Kimi Leal.
For sure.
That is not
There's
a
no
rush
way
you
he
wanna be
survives
making.
this.
Yeah.
He's not even going to live to make it.
When you're in the Daring and your caller says, yep, you're going to rush the Des Moines.
Yeah, that only ends one way.
Yeah.
That's not a call you want to hear.
Oh,
Zando,
oh, big sits on YBB there from Exodus, all the way 20 kilometers off to his starboard.
YBB, I mean, go for the ram. It's not good. But never mind. Never
There's
mind.
no
Just
way.
scratch that.
This game is just a complete disaster for VOR. And I almost think this is worse than the first game, right? Than game 2, right? Game 2 may be attributable, yes, to a misplay with the loss of the Daring, maybe a little bit of bad luck, right? But this, they clearly executed the exact strategy they wanted to do, and Shaft was 100% ready for these guys.
I think the initial deployments, which, you know, is a combination of planning and luck, I think. Shaft's initial deployments were just tailor-made to counter that strategy. You had the lovely, just easily take A, contest B, and then you've got the beautiful, like, multiple radar setup to counter a push. Yeah, I think VOR were on the back foot from the beginning of this match just because of the deployments.
VOR also traded really poorly on the 9-10 line. They had one ship
Yes.
advantage there, but they ended up losing
Yeah.
2 ships and most of their battleship there, and only got 2 kills themselves.
Oh, the torpedo kill on the Nevsky. Wow. He did manage to, Napoli did manage to take one of the Nevskys with him before he went out.
Well, yeah, the Nevskys were focusing on the Des Moines while the Napoli was shooting him, so no surprise they lose one of them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Shaft with the reverse sweep here in our best of 3, claiming games 2 and 3. They will be moving on to the big international grand final versus the winner of the next match. So stats, hope for EU, that all EU final you guys are dreaming of, still a possibility.
Yeah, got that tingly feeling for a double EU
Just-
final, but of course Ban CV will have to do the work first.
Just a little bit of
So,
pressure on those guys.
Yeah, so we'll see. But fantastic news for Shaft. Congratulations to Shaft. Well done. Very happy to see them going through. And we'll pass back to Prague to prepare for the next match.